A building that was under construction in central Moscow has been hit by a drone, according to the mayor. 2 more drones were reportedly struck down in the greater Moscow region, and Russian officials are calling it another attempt by Kyiv to carry out a terrorist attack. Ukraine doesn't usually comment on who is behind attacks inside Russia. It's a year and a half since President Putin launched his full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Tens of thousands of soldiers have been killed in the war, and Russian forces have been replenishing their ranks with convicts released from Russia's notoriously brutal prisons. Some of them are dangerous criminals who are then sent home to Russia, where they're said to commit more serious crimes. From Moscow, the BBC's Will Vernon reports.
Anna has fond memories of her grandma.
She was 85 years old, and she lived in a wooden house. She liked to sing songs.
In March this year, 85-year-old Yulia was at home when a man knocked on the door.
She knew him. He let him enter to her house, and he killed her with a knife at her own home.
Yulia's killer was a local man, a convicted murderer who had returned from the war in Ukraine. Tens of thousands of Russian convicts like him were released from prisons and sent to the front line, many with the Wagner group. After serving for 6 months, some are allowed to return home.
It's obvious that if they were in a prison, they may have problems with the self-control.
Activists say Yulia's killing is one of several committed by former prisoners.
These men are traumatized at least twice. They're traumatized because of the Russian prison, and they are traumatized because of the war in Ukraine. They are not able to return to normal life. They don't know what normal life is. And the only way for them is to commit a new crime.
The message from the Kremlin? These men are not a threat.
President Putin says the reoffending rate among convicts who have fought in Ukraine is 10 times lower compared to regular prisoners. But right across the country, some people are now speaking out. They say that dangerous criminals are returning to towns and villages and bringing terror to local communities.
23-year-old Vera Pechtelova was murdered 3 years ago by her ex-boyfriend. He was given 17 years in prison for her killing. He too has been released to fight in Ukraine. Vera's uncle Vladimir told me the family is now fearful about her killer's return.
Vera's mother is afraid, yes, that he'll come back. He killed her daughter with extreme brutality. I have no words. We are the victims, and we thought justice would prevail, but there is no justice.
Russia has been at war for 18 months. Drone attacks are common, and now violent criminals are being sent back into society. This country is on edge. Will Vernon, BBC News, Moscow.